There's two things that are the death of franchises: bad writing and repeating ideas. When you find yourself with success that becomes a major hit, you're going to want to keep doing more. The audience wants to see those characters they enjoy pop up for another walk through the trenches. But not all series can keep going forever. You start running into roadblocks because the past journeys covered a certain flaw in your hero, they gained experience in skills, we got mystery solved. This starts eating out what you can do, where you can go. Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions are examples. This is where the next Karate Kid ran into a mile-high wall. You have the success of the first two films, a story about passing your limits, becoming better, but you also come after a failed movie with Karate Kid 3. Character growth, past plot lines, all messed up and thrown out, trying to force a story where it wasn't properly executed. At that point, the Karate Kid series should have ended. 3 broke a lot of people's love to the series and Daniel, but companies want the train to keep going till it crashes. So they usually try to go back to basics to fix things, but that usually means it's just a copy of what worked before, changing minor things to be different, but not understanding, not caring why the original film worked. Now, I don't think Next Karate Kid is a dumpster fire. It's a bad Karate Kid movie because it's ultimately a repeat of the first film. I personally had a different perspective on the series. Karate Kid 4 was the first of the films I saw. I seem to do that a lot. I did the same thing with the Alien movies. I saw Alien Resurrection first. Going into the movie totally blank, I didn't know who Daniel was or cared. Julie was the first hero I knew from the series. I enjoyed the film. Even today, there are things I still like from it. But when I got to see the first Karate Kid, I fell out of the series and didn't watch Kid 2 or 3 till I think a decade later, which sucked for me. I'm probably going to get some confused looks for this, but I enjoyed Karate Kid 2 more than Karate Kid 1. I'll get into why when I make my Karate Kid 3 video. Kid 4 is desperately trying to fix what went wrong last time, but nearly beat for beat redoing the first film, just with boring and worse characters. Let me go with the good first. Of the 4 films, Mr. Miyagi has been pretty consistent, no matter how dumb the plot got. All the writers got him right. He's always the good mentor, with his funny bits put in good amounts. We get to see his skills in those finale moments. Julia Pierce, the series' new lead, she's fine. Of the new characters, Mark Lee fleshed her out. Julie is different from Daniel. Most of her gremlins are the problems she had from the loss of her parents. She's a contrast from Daniel. He always likes to have friends and fit in, but Julie rather stay more to herself. That's her way of coping with her loss. They also hit a good balance from being a jerk character, but showing that she still does care and have affection to things. The way the movie writes out Daniel from the story, no problem there. Daniel isn't with Miyagi all the time, so this is just another adventure away from home. Her journey becoming a better person and meeting a few of Miyagi's old friends was also fine. They had charm and weren't annoying, but that's as far as I'm gonna go with the positives. The rest of the film follows the same motions. Julie meets her love interest. There's a leader asshole character, aka Kreese's copy. I like Michael Ironside. I think his best role is Darkseid in the Superman animated series. You hate his guts and the other guys from the Alpha Elite in that messed up fraternity security guard thing. I still don't get how they got away with a lot of those things they did. I have the same problem with the 5th Harry Potter film's character Umbridge. I can't buy the situations Harry and the others are put in. The school setting compounds the... No, don't. This will just turn into an Order of the Phoenix rant. Ned is a crappy copy of Johnny without any redeeming qualities. Even Julie's love relationship wasn't executed right. It was kind of interesting that Eric was mixed in the middle of this piece of garbage fraternity, but even this bit felt like a copy of Karate Kid 3. What screwed Eric the most was the split the film had when Julie went with Miyagi. I'm not saying this part of the story needed to be changed. This is one of the best parts of the film. The romance needed to be removed. I know the story bit was added because of what happened in the 3rd film, but there was no real bond with Julie and Eric like there was with Daniel and Kumiko in part 2. If they got rid of him, it would require the entire ending to be different, which would have been better, honestly. They needed to come up with a new bad guy / problem. That's why Cobra Kai works, but the next Karate Kid didn't. Each of the seasons have different problems happen from the issues that build up. Some echo things Daniel and Johnny went through, or are a direct continuation of stuff that happened in the previous films. Not only do we have Kreese and Johnny's copies, Ned even does the same character turn with Dugan, except it happens at the ending, when Dugan demands Ned to keep going. I'll just come up with a plot at the top of my head. One of Julie's personal issues was the loss of her family in that car accident. Well, what if her parents were killed simply because her grandfather was with her family and they got murdered with him? Julie would hone her skills with Miyagi as the movie does. Something big happens, like the grandmother she didn't treat well in the beginning was kidnapped by the same person. This person had a grudge against her entire family because of their involvement in World War II, which would link back to Miyagi. Maybe it was revenge after the bombings. And so to rescue her grandmother, both Julie and Miyagi go to rescue her. Then this is where her anger problems are tested out. Does she kill her family's killer or not? At the same time, the killer has a conflicting issue with Miyagi helping Julie out while he tries to reason with the man. It expands on Miyagi's background like movie 2. It gives a connection between Julie and Miyagi. That's one of the reasons why I like Daniel and Miyagi. And it doesn't rip off anything from the previous films. It's a more intense movie. It would be a big change, but you're supposed to be different when you make sequels. You have to change the stakes. But I'm also trying to keep the essence of the series and not go too far. That's why I keep the whole death thing off screen so it doesn't go over the top. The most they did was curse a few times and beat the crap out of each other. We also don't need a huge shootout scene. The potential was there in the fourth film, but with the third film really pissing people off, the writer ended up playing it too safe. Fans were already 1 foot out the door, so the moment everyone saw next as Poor Man's Karate Kid, it instantly killed the series. That's why they ended up doing that reboot, even though majority of reboots no one wants. That's what Hollywood loves to do. They don't want to take on the challenge and fix what they broke. They rather just reboot it or any other way to get an easy buck. Luckily, Cobra Kai's writers took on that challenge and did basically the impossible, bringing back an old series that was dead and not f it up. They understand you continue a story with something that already exists while bringing new stuff in, mixing both together. Good things come out when it works. From the show's track record, I want to see them fix Karate Kid 3 and 4. That's the biggest test they have. I want to see Julie come back in Cobra Kai. I've always wanted to see Daniel and Julie be a part of the story together. They're the last people who have been with Miyagi. I want to see how their views towards Miyagi are. Will there be an issue between them? The series can expand on things that weren't touched on in the original films. I don't know how season 4 will progress Robbie's story, but one of the issues Robbie had was that Daniel had become this successful person. It's one of the elements that made Robbie turn down the other path. Julie's been through her own demons. I could see Cobra Kai doing something there with those two characters. If Julie does help Robbie out in a theoretical season 5, this help would expand on her character. Then they could cross the story where Daniel tries to meet up with Robbie and do his usual convincing speech. That's how I would drop Julie into seeing Daniel for the first time. Kai has the potential to correct flaws and characters from the last 2 films. I am willing to see these characters come back for a second chance with writers like Cobra Kai has.